There's no separation between the head and the heart. There is none. And when there appears to be one, then we're talking about the schism that culture has enabled you to have about what the matters are relative to either of those domains. Let's say, put simply, the brain, head, and the heart, emotion maybe, feeling for sure, thinking and or feeling, right? If we're talking about music, then it's got to be more feeling than just thinking. It's got to come from deep inside. There's no schooling for that. You have a heart, your own sense of feeling, your own sense of human emotion. So you know what to play from if you have access to that. And I remember when I was coming up through the jazz school, or not school, but culture, it was often heard in, let's say, clubs and in back rooms. Say, no, you got to go back to the blues. You have to go back to the blues. Not as a musical structure, but as a form of self-expression, self-purification. Yeah. The blues as a healing, not just something to identify with as, well, I know that music. No. It's a very simple structure. Anybody can know the blues. But very few people live the blues, and we're talking about living the blues. So, regardless of what music you come from or aspire towards. So, if you're a classical musician and you're talking to me, I'd say, no, you got to live the blues, man. You got to play from that, right? Vulnerability, perhaps, in some cases, or just psychic sense of what the heart is about, what suffering is about in this domain. Everybody's suffering something or other, right? So it's easy to find sources that can tenderize your heart if you open your mind to it. So it's not really far removed from any musician. To find a source that opens this area more so than keeps you rattling back and forth up in this sort of area of noise, the intellectual sort of irrelevant noise. More heart than this. The best and strongest music is always more heart than just this. Classical music is different, and its purpose is different, and it is much more for the head and the brain, let's say, and the intellect. And that's the area it hopes to heal in some way. Intellectual interest in the machinery of music, and in some cases the mathematics of music, and the composition of music, and so on and so forth. It's great for what it is. And of course we know it has plenty of this in it as well. Maybe not as much as other forms of music, but certainly enough. There's enough sadness and tragedy in classical music, but that's not what they teach you in classical music school. It's not about that. It's about learning all these technical and, let's say, mathematical sort of approaches to self-expression, or just teaching you how to read everybody else's music and play it perfectly without mistakes. So we're talking about the heart and the soul of music. It can't be that far from you just because you're a mental type or you're an analytical type, a heady. Human. Again, look around you, listen, feel, see, and know the profound suffering that's existing out here. It's everywhere. So it's more overwhelming than lacking. purpose. So in the heart of the musician has to feel all of that, and feel it. Recently we had Aretha Franklin passing over. It was all feeling. It was a tremendous emotional sensitivity. Gospel singer, classical singer, but no, just feeling, heart. It's a, exposed, raw emotion. Real, living emotion. So remember being your living emotion, and work from that. It's already given to everybody. You just have to recognize it and use it appropriately. Yeah, there's no teaching to it, but to feel. That's it. We have only to feel deepness and deeply for others, as well as for ourselves. And as you're indicating, there's plenty in the immediate family to be feeling for and dealing with that is requiring steps for people to adapt and wisely use the situation. Right? We need only to feel. Sometimes we have to listen to feel. Hear the other person and thus feel. So sympathize with the next person and feel. Hear them crying, hear their suffering and feel. Bring comfort to them if possible. So say, yeah, I hear you, I feel you. Yeah, you're not alone, I feel it. So we share that feeling. So bond. So for the moment with a person, help them come out of their rut, let's say, they're suffering a little bit. So, I remember when I was young, my mother would just, put her hand on my hand as, she felt it was needed to do that, just to stop things. Like, boom, hand on hand, mom to child. Comfort. Yeah. It's feeling secure. Feeling supported. Feeling felt by another being. And musicians should be, or maybe they could be, the most feeling of all the people out here, because they're into the sound and the feeling and the emotion and music. It's all there in the music. It's all there in the notes, in the rhythms, in the beats. It's all there. The life pulses as manifested through, let's say, the wonderful, great medium of musical sound expression. Music. To the ears, music for the heart. To the ears, yeah. But for the heart as much as for the mind. Music. Healing. Musical healing. Originally given to us for healing purposes. When we advance in our spiritual practice, not just our musical practice, then we can start to, if we are receptive, hear the music of the spheres. Hear the angelic choirs that are in the air, in the ethers. Hear it. Feel it. No, but you have to be listening. You have to feel it. To be open to it. You have to get out of your suffering and your make-believe nonsense and just be receptive. Say, rise into it. And once you sense you are in the resonance, and you say, yes, more, yes, 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 yes. Until it swallows you up out of yourself. Yeah. And you rise in spirit. It's possible. So part of the practice of attention to the spiritual, musician or not, attention to the spiritual. Which is also attention to the musical, the etheric level of musical cosmic sounds. When you have family members who are having a difficult time with their lives, they need love. They need forgiveness. Often they can't help themselves. And a mistake would be for those who say, well, that person should be doing what I'm doing or like I'm doing. As good as I'm doing, they should be because I'm doing this. That's a bit selfish. What you're doing, you should be grateful that you can do what you do. But not everybody's given the same. You have to be more tolerant of difference. Racial, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual difference. All of these count. And then there's the psychic differences. And that's in the feeling world where what one feels the other doesn't feel. So you're not designed to feel it. There's nothing wrong if you don't, but you're not designed to feel it. You can't feel it. But because you can't feel it doesn't mean it's not real. It's not there. Everything is there already. It's already here. Not everybody feels everything that there is to feel because not everyone is designed to handle the universe of what it is exactly. We have to step back and give others space to evolve and be in their respective sort of like being. And be ready to assist. If we're talking about our own children, our own brethren, our own family, be ready to assist in some form or other. And at least be supportive. Saying, I hear you, I know it, I feel you. I'm here for you, call me. Say, let's meet or whatever. Say, everything is okay between us. Healing. Yeah, we're good. Healing. I love you. Healing, yes. Know that if no one else seems to love you, I love you. Healing. Even if we're apart and we don't hang out and I rarely see you and we're in different universes, know that I love you. A healing. Could be a pet. Know that I love you. Healing. Could be a fish. I'm not. Yeah, same thing. What? And so in that act of resonance with the next person emotionally and psychically in terms of feeling, well, that's healing for them. Then you serve the function of being a catalyst for expanding their awareness ever so much. True feeling has nothing to do with music, yet they are related, even deeply. Feeling is present. You're feeling alive. You have to know what that is. You're here, now, feeling presence, feeling being. All this very powerful feeling. And so from there you go to your keyboard, as I have done with the guitar, and express what that feeling is. But not expect to find that feeling in musical devices as such, because you're putting the cart before the horse. Right? It's not there. It's got to come from inside. Real comes from inside. Real. Aretha Franklin, I think, real inside. Martin Luther King, real inside. Right? Two shining examples. Right? Truth from the inside out. C.G. Boniello out via the six strings. Right? The six-string drum, etc. Out from the inside out. Everyone from the inside out. Truth from the inside out. Spirit from the inside out. Wisdom from the love from the inside out. Heart inside out. All feeling. It's pure feeling. Only feeling. Connected with the universe. Native connection. Ground. Elements. Walls. Native connection. Planets. Space. Time. Energy. Matter. Connection. The event is here nowness. You're actually nowhere else, so why pretend to be anywhere else? The power is in working from the here and now and knowing this as an in-depth experience. What does it mean for you to feel you are truly and absolutely and utterly here now? Breathing here now. Just breathing here now. Allowing for questions to arise just out of here now. Know what you're saying? From the here now.
Yeah.
Selfless statement from the here now.
We have, as students and as beings in this time and of this culture, a tremendous amount of feeling to draw upon, whether that's from inheritance or culture or the moment. What is the proper course? I mean, do you express all of it? The expression of feeling, the feeling of feeling, there's just so much to feel. And when you sit down and play...
We're not talking about taking on everybody's karma. That's a very different attitude. So, we're talking about feeling heart resonance, which tells you everything. That's not taking on their problems. That's beside the point. The heart resonance is feeling okay with the universe. We're talking about the heart is the universe. It's not everybody's garbage. And to be in tune with someone else at the basic feeling of beingness has nothing to do with their garbage content. So that's not the required practice, by the way. But obviously that's too much. That's where everyone is already sort of like lost. In overload. Too much exposure to everything else that's going on. You're assuming that because that's part of the culture, you're here to be that. No one is that. No one can truly be that. You can attempt to be as much as you can of that sort of, let's say, influx. But there's no balance in that. And we are not that. So how do you correct the equation? Breathe out. Be none of it already. Be here now. Put the rest of all of the influences to rest. Zero. Heart space. hear, feel, see that. Simple vibration. As a spiritual thread between all living beings.
So then, is the purpose of musical practice in order to learn forms, in order to play feeling through those forms?
It's possible. I think the purpose of music is to heal other beings through genuine self-expression. Technically, musically, vocally even. Get that heart out there. Let that heart sing for itself. Have a voice, it's huge. Sometimes you hear it from a child, sometimes not. But a heart-open being is what you hear from. Most people are, as we were just saying earlier, overwhelmed by so much music, they don't have their own voice. You have to stop and recover your voice, right? You're crying, you're laughing, you have to catch that. See? Right? And not forget that, and get caught up in everybody else's, whatever they appear to be. See? You're given your sorrow, your sadness, and your unhappiness, right, to teach you concerning what you're really made out of, which is vulnerability as a human being. Not merely as a victim, but as someone who needs to look at the very nature of the heart itself. This is the heart. I cry, and then I laugh. It's all the heart. Then I'm not laughing, I'm not crying, yet it is the heart. It's neither. The heart is music already. You need to recover what that is for you in truth. What is your heart's music? Is it composition? Is it vocalizing? Is it playing this instrument or that instrument? Is that your heart's music? Is it a few ideas that you put on paper? When you're crying, there's your heart's music, man. Right? Cry a song or two. See? Let your emotions flow. See? There's your real music, regardless of what you jot down or what you hear, what you play or practice. Let your emotions flow. Let the truth of your heart sing for itself. It must be accepted that your training as a musician is ultimately for the purpose of expressing your emotions and your truth. Ultimately for that purpose. And it could be said that the greatest of the musicians, if there is such a thing, have their facility at their disposal. That they are not just their training and their facility, but that is supposed to be developed in order to facilitate their purest expression of their truth. So everything you learn should be giving some voice to your heart's truth, not your mind's expectation or idea, but your heart's truth. Sometimes there could be one thing, where the heart's truth brings in the mind so that the mind is there in the service of the heart's truth. So be it. See, the function of a channel is not to know anything, see, but to be receptive to what it is. That wherever and whatever there is, this knowing as source can come through for itself, kind of like giving the heart an opportunity to express its voice. Then we're talking about knowledge and intelligence and wisdom that have to do with not only consciousness, and to some degree subconsciousness, but also to a higher degree later as we unfold from the superconscious. So we learn as a conscious being to play in hopes that the superconscious musician can express itself. It takes a while to do that and get to that place. You need patience. You can't rush it. It may take many more years than the next person, but it's all relative. Same with the trainings in the spiritual works in all the great religions. Some have intuition, some have intelligence. Sometimes they're different, and on some occasions they're the same. And teachers, masters, or gurus are always watching to see those who have a certain unique configuration going there, where the intelligence and the intuition are in alignment to a proper relationship. So the teacher can say something, and then the intuition of the student understands what it is without having to go any further in the conversation. Yeah. That's how it should be in real music too. Play something and the rest should be obvious. Need not be spoken about or written out exactly, because in the real world we don't work from a script anyway. There's no script. We're flying unscripted, man. And that's the right way. Love always, Hugh.
Yeah.